Good morning, everybody. If you don't know who I am, my name is Porter Snow, and I'm glad to be here with you today. We're going to get started in just a second, so sit up, engage, and let's do this together.
Hey everybody, I'm Porter and I am excited that you're here with us today. I know that some of y'all are watching from YouTube, which is awesome, but I do want you to know that all of our questions and answers and our raffles will be done on Facebook Live in the chat. So make sure that you're checking that out as well, but we are glad that you're joining us on the YouTube channel. That's it. Y'all have fun.
All right, I've got my good friend Mark Osborne here from First Choice Pharmacy and Home Infusion. I probably said that backwards, but Mark, you'll fix it if I didn't say it quite right. But it's good to see you. Thanks so much for joining us and being a part of Hope Conference. It's great to see you.
Well, thanks for inviting me, Jonathan. I guess in these days and times, this is the closest we're going to get of, actually seeing each other for a while, huh? Unfortunately.
I know, it's one of those things where we all miss being together in person, and I really genuinely look forward to when we can be back together. But I also recognize, I know, there's a need in some ways for us to also play it safe. I'd rather be conservative and get through this season healthy than I would to take unnecessary risks. So, man, we appreciate you being flexible and always so grateful for your support and your sponsorship of these events. We really could not do these things if it wasn't for your help. And you guys have been a big support, and we really do appreciate you being a part of it.
Well, not a problem. We really appreciate you, allowing us and giving us the opportunity, and, in talking to you and Porter both. I know I've said to Porter in the past, I really like being part of Hope and trying to support you all I can. And to be quite honest, because of the support and what you all do for the community. So
Well, Thank you for that. And it is, you know, our heart is very connected to our mission and what we do every day. And again, that's something that, you know, we just couldn't do without you. So thank you again for all that you do. I mean, one neat thing too, is you guys have really grown. I mean, I know that you are helping more people in more states than you were at once upon a time. So, you know, I'm looking at your map behind you there, and you guys are all over the place. So you're not just in one location. You're kind of helping people all over like we are. So it's good to see that as well.
We're getting there.
Good. I love it. What are you guys doing to help communicate with your patients more and to be able to stay connected? Because I know, you know, there's raised some new challenges that we haven't had to face as a society, but also as a community. So tell me a little bit about how that's impacted you, and then also how you're reaching out to the community.
Yeah. Well, let me just first say, I think you're the only person in my entire life that's ever used the term well-adjusted in any sentence dealing with me, but thank you. So I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
You know, it was in some senses, obviously, when all of this started, as far as the, you know, from the pharmacy side and providing medication, well, you know, kind of COVID had nothing to do with getting people their, you know, factor or injections or whatever their medication might be for their bleeding disorder. But the early on, especially, it was the little things that became a nightmare. Gloves and masks. And, you know, oh my God, whoever thought that I was going to click on one of our wholesale sites and Clorox wipes were on allocation? You know, like, really?
Wow.
So, yeah. So anyway, so oddly enough, it wasn't the medicine early on. It was a lot of the, you know, the supplies and things. And then obviously some extra things people needed, trying to be a little cautious, you know, hand sanitizer and, you know, little things like that. So early on, and even a little bit today, it really just made everything more complicated, took longer, sort of thing. So obviously we've been able to continue to get everyone their medicine, take care of everyone. I think the big thing about the current circumstances is being a small independent pharmacy. One of the things we prided ourselves on is the personal contact we had with our patients. And a lot of times, as you all know, patients become friends. You know, you've known, you know, I've got kids that I've known since they were, you know, little, and now they're in college and that sort of thing. So I think the biggest thing for us is we all just have truly missed the opportunity to really have that personal contact and interaction with our patients and our families. So we all just sort of, you know, because as we say, we've got to be cautious. We've got to do the smart thing, but that doesn't mean we have to like it.
Yeah, that's true, and I'm with you there, and I so appreciate the level of contact and service that you go out of your way. I've noticed that just about being around you and the fellow coworkers, just how much you really you make it more like a family than you do you know a transaction, and I really do admire that about the work that you do, and love that you can have that high touch service, which I think is becoming more valuable in this environment for sure.
Yeah.
People are still having some trouble that we found with insurance hurdles and trying to navigate. We've seen some people that haven't even wanted to make a change if they're in this situation, but they're very frustrated, you know, with their current circumstance. I mean, if somebody's looking to make a change or to try to shift from one type of, you know, pharmacy to another, or to whatever service that they're trying to do, even product wise, what does that look like for you guys? And are y'all able to help them make those transitions more smoothly, even though it's not done in person?
Wow, you know, insurance companies.
Yeah.
There's nothing about that. Yeah, there's nothing about that that's, you know, easy or smooth or anything else. Yes, I would like to be able to say, to answer your question, oh, absolutely, we're there to do that. Unfortunately, the truth is, in these days and times, that insurance companies so much dictate certainly where all patients, especially bleeding disorder patients, get their medication. And even to the point, even more and more a little bit that we've seen in the last few years, sometimes what medication is available to them, what's covered, what's not covered. So I think I'm going to give you what I consider the honest answer, and that is, yes, we're always there. We have some insurance specialists, we have patient assistance specialists, coordinators, folks that have been in the bleeding disorder community and families for years that were real good at helping do that. But as far as saying that I can fix an insurance company or sometimes that I accomplish anything or we're able to accomplish anything, I can't honestly say we are, as most of you all know. So that's just the unfortunate thing these days. So, everybody, we get asked all the time, oh, well, what insurance company, what insurance do you take? Well, we pretty much take all insurance. But even in insurance companies anymore, they have 12 or 15, 20 different plans. You can't just say you take Blue Cross, because they've got 20 different plans, and we might take whatever, 5 of them or 19 of them. And then on top of that, I'm not sure you're aware, but more and more, especially larger companies, are becoming self-insured. Well, if a company's self-insured and United, Aetna, Blue Cross, whoever is just managing their benefits for them, then that's a whole different ball game, because a self-insured company can have kind of whatever rules they want either. So the insurance question is that, the only answer we can ever give people anymore is, if you're interested in seeing if we can service and provide your medicine, is we'll just have to try to run a test claim, research your insurance to see if we're an option or not. And unfortunately, as you probably know, and I'm sure you probably hear, more and more patients, not just hemophilia patients, bleeding disorder patients, but in all specialties, and especially in the specialty pharmacy situation, not like, just going down to your local family drugstore, are being limited on what their choices are.
Do you think that that's a good thing or a bad thing for the community?
I think it's well, the story the insurance companies say and always tell makes it sound like a good thing, but I think it's an absolute bad thing. I mean, the insurance companies and providers tend to say, oh, well, by limiting your choices, and we get group purchasing and blah, blah, this, and we're trying to keep costs down. But what I've never really understood from the insurance companies is, if they reimburse something at $1 a unit, why would they care who they reimburse the dollar? If they say, there's a thing out there called the any willing provider law, and it's supposed to say any patient has a right to go any pharmacy they want, as long as that pharmacy is willing to accept the reimbursement rate that the insurance companies have or provide. So what I've never understood, if an insurance company reimburses at $1 a unit, why do they care who they give the dollar to? And then the other side of that, and I'm not sure why whoever is in charge of all that is allowing it, more and more insurance companies are starting their own specialty pharmacy. Well, then, of course, they from day one are trying to force you all as patients to have to go to their pharmacy.
Right.
And of course, from the insurance company standpoint, if they're taking your premium in the right hand, and they're sending the money out of their own pharmacy in the left hand, they don't really care which hand the money's in, because it's both theirs.
Right.
So
they're dictating the reimbursement either way.
That's exactly right. If they pay a higher reimbursement to their own pharmacy, they make more money here. If they pay a cheap reimbursement to their own pharmacy, they just keep it on the premium side. So no, I don't understand the limiting, other than obviously if it is in their best interest. And I have no idea if that's what's in the insurance company's best interest to make more money, how that's ever in the patient's best interest.
Yeah, I would have to agree that I don't think it is in the patient's best interest. I kind of find myself as I don't know if casual observer is the right way to say that. I think it's probably more of a intrigued observer, but I don't feel like that change is going to happen in that way. We've seen a steady decline on the options and the choice, although the manufacturers have continued to expand the plethora of options on what drugs are available, which is great.
Right. Yes.
What's changing behind the scenes that a lot of people are paying attention to the new drugs that are coming out, which is great, but they're really not aware of the fact that their options and choice are happening. And just like anything that's mandated, whether it be, whether it be a subsidized qualified plan like Medicaid, Medicare, or if it's something that is independently controlled versus a PBM distribution, those types of differences can make huge differences on, you might be required to go to just this one particular pharmacy because they're owned by that particular insurance company, or you may be required to only use 2 or 3 of the drugs and not all of the list of 14 or 15 products that are on the market that may work better for Joe that doesn't work good for Sam. And so, this is already a rare disease that's difficult to manage. And I think that, what you said it earlier is that as a small independent pharmacy, one of the focuses that you have is to have a high touch, high care for the individual patient. I just appreciate your faithfulness to continue serving the community, even when it's not convenient. And I've watched you have to go through some situations that required you to do the right thing, even when no one was looking. And I do appreciate your integrity, because I've seen it on.
And that's kind of why we're all here at First Choice. We've all worked for those larger companies.
Yeah.
We've all been in those situations where for some reason making another dollar was more important than, giving patient care and not just, and I'm not talking about minimal care for what you need, but I'm talking about even down to the little things, because obviously, if you have a bleeding disorder and you're, by the time you're an, adult, 20 something years old, whatever, or even if you're a mom or a dad, you get where you like certain things. I like that Terumo needle. I don't like that cheap needle, or I like the good syringe, not the 2-cent syringe. And so that's kind of all of us that are at First Choice. We've all been with those larger companies, and that is the huge advantage of being an independent, is we can give people what they want, the brand they want. And if you're a patient and sorry, I like Curad Band-Aids, I don't like that other brand, then that's fine.
Yeah.
And that we are in a situation where we feel, at least we feel, obviously, that we can give better, more personalized patient care, because we get to make the choice that we all have to make enough money to keep the lights on. We get that.
Sure.
But we don't have to make that extra dollar just to give you something cheap.
Yeah.
Or what we stock, whether you want it or not.
That's so true. Such a good point.
The other thing that concerns me about the insurance companies forcing more and more people to set pharmacies is, once they get there, and certainly once, if they ever put, enough of us independents out of business, now they're going to be able to just tell you what to do.
Yeah.
Even down to the product you have.
Yeah, and I think it's a much bigger issue. There's a precedent that was set about 7 or 8 years ago in the HIV community. In California, they won a case where they rejected the PBM model, and in HIV, they were able to get their drugs from any pharmacy on any plan. And I think that there's some data that we're collecting that really could get us there. I think it's going to take a combination of not just hemophilia, but other rare diseases that face the same issue, which is one of the reasons why we have been working with, our move to try to help some other disease states through our Hope Charities brand. And as we continue to expand and others, I've been working with a group called the United for Charitable Assistance Coalition, which is a large group of these people. Most of the people on the committee are in the organization are PAN Foundation, PSI, Assistance Fund, right. Good Days, a lot of the organizations that provide some type of premium or copay assistance. But we've been going to the Hill, working on bills. And look, our goal is not necessarily to try to to try to, tackle these issues and make a significant change today, because we really can't. What we're trying to really discover is what can we all agree on? And I think the issue here is that insurance, to some degree, a path forward for insurance for everyone where it is still available, is going to have to be solved first. But until we get so unhappy with the lack of choice and the lack of availability.
I've been in pharmaceutical sales most of my life,
Yeah.
and I don't care if it's high blood pressure or diabetes or
Right.
or a bleeding disorder.
That's right.
Nothing's for everyone, and all of our bodies are very individualized. Therefore, our response to any medication is very individualized.
That's exactly right.
And it, like an anti-inflammatory, you may do great on ibuprofen, but I don't do well with it, and I need naproxen.
Yep. That's why I love moments like this, conferences like this. It gives us an opportunity to get together and really kind of talk about, what are you struggling with? What are you having issues with? And I always say this, in a bleeding disorder community, the home really is the hospital. That's where the treatment happens, is at the home. And if you don't have a safe, clean environment where you can get consistent access to your therapy, you're not going to survive that. You're just not going to survive that long term, or your quality of life is going to be so poor that you don't want to survive that. And the truth of it is that that's one of the reasons why we are so focused on financial assistance programs, because if someone has their utilities disconnected or gets evicted from their home, the very first thing that goes is their ability to receive medications consistently, because they don't have an address. And for that reason, we want to keep them as stable as possible, because it would be just like unplugging the power cord from the hospital that's down the road. And we wouldn't think about doing that. But for whatever reason, we allow it to happen day in and day out for individual patients. And I'm not willing to stand for it. And I know you're not willing to stand for it. And there's a handful of us throughout the community that are willing to say, you know what, we're going to sacrifice to make sure people stay as stable as possible, so that we can make sure that they get the treatment consistently as they need it. But I think the next phase for us is that we should also be willing to take a stand in the same way for choice as well, because this limitation of choice should not be something that we're comfortable with and just allow to happen. We have the ability. We live in the country that spends the absolute most on healthcare of any other country in the world. We should have access to many choices that continue to come available to us when we decide that we want those choices available.
Well, and obviously that's, me well enough to know that's kind of, our kind of whatever motto or saying or whatever in the bleeding disorder community part of our pharmacy is, your care should be more than sitting a box on your front porch.
That's good.
So, and so we can do and all of that we can, unfortunately, and that's the problem with all of those decisions you were just talking about, are always from the reimbursement side, financial decisions. And it's about those large, either Medicaid, Medicare, or most importantly, the private insurance companies, where they're trying, again, to make that other penny or 2 pennies, or wanting that other dollar's more important to them than what is the best care. And unfortunately, they're making $2 billion a year. Sorry, I'm a little pharmacy in Hendersonville, Tennessee, and we're in but still, or even Hope for Hemophilia, and you all are a non-profit charitable organization. That's the hardest part about that, is they've got, staffs of lawyers on hands and making $1 billion a year, and lobbyists up at our state and federal level with our politicians, and fighting that battle against that much money in those insurance and companies and PBMs is,
well, I'll tell you, this
certainly frustrating.
I came from the financial planning part of the world, and that I have a background in investment banking. And part of my research and analyst work back then had a lot to do with studying these financial reports of these large corporations that do this, including insurance companies. A lot of people don't realize this, but actually insurance companies, it's a well-known fact on Wall Street, insurance companies have more money than banks do. And this is not an issue of who should have what money or what profit should be made. I just simply like to bring out the point that we as a community, and you hear this in politics a lot, you hear this in the general population a lot, people have come to terms with saying, well, it's okay because how else are we going to pay for it unless everybody participates? Or how else are they going to be able to pay for it? They still got to keep the lights on at the insurance company. Well, first of all, look at their balance sheet and study their income reports and quarterly revenue streams before you make that comment, because they are one of the only industries that has continued to see bonuses and total revenue increases, including profitability margin increases year over year over year over year over year over year. And so what we're talking about is the difference when you and I get choice for me to choose what drug that I feel like that is the right drug for me and my doctor to decide that I should be on, and for me to choose from who I want to get it from, I should say. Those two choices are the difference between a guy on the board of directors at the insurance company getting $100 million that in revenue that year, or for his division, or for him getting $99 million. And $1 million seems like a lot when that's all you're looking at, but those numbers are not the same across the board. And the bonus structure that comes out of that is him getting a $4 million bonus versus him getting a $3.9 million bonus. And I'm telling you right now, it doesn't hurt anybody for us to be able to get the choices that we want in terms of material, but it is hurting people for them not to be able to have access to the decisions that help them make a better decision in their own health. And that's both short-term and long-term problems that can be solved, but it's not going to change until we as a community get on the same page about it and we're willing to fight it. I agree. The number one priority right now is for us to address health insurance as a whole and access to not having pre-existing conditions. I want to fight that all day long, and I'm in for the fight on that. But right behind it, as a very close second tier, we need to be able to get on the same page about the issue of choice all the way around, whether it's drugs or whether it's hospitals, whether it's treatment centers, or whether it is pharmacies. We need to be united in our effort to do that. And it's going to happen at both the state and federal level. And until we get, upset enough about it as a community, it will not change. I believe it can if we do.
Right. And I think the thing, since, I'm old and been around in the pharmacy medical community for a long, long time, is what concerns me is a little bit of what you said earlier, that they're going to incrementally small chip away at it, little things so you don't notice, till we kind of sort of, as we all say, wake up one day. And so much of it is gone. And as I said, they've got enough people herded into that, small area corral of what's available to them that it's too late.
That's right.
So, and it's kind of, and like you said too, and that's what I've always said about the insurance companies, my comment earlier, if you're going to reimburse $1 a unit, if there's not something going on in the background there between, your big insurance company and your own pharmacy, or your big insurance company and the big 3 or 4 provider companies, if there's not something going on behind the scenes, then why would you care who you paid the $1 to? If you're just paying $1, why would you care? And that's a lot of times, of course, obviously, we all know about healthcare costs and how expensive, not just bleeding disorder medicine. We do some work in oncology and cancer medicines, and some of those medicines in neurology are getting as expensive or more expensive than bleeding disorders. And, and of course, everybody looks at healthcare costs. And obviously, if you're getting your medicine from the pharmacy and you see your EOB, it's a little easy to say, oh my God, look what they're doing to me. And I kind of explained to people, I said, really, in the pharmacy world, we don't have really any choice much, because manufacturers tell us what we're going to pay to get the medicine, or through the wholesaler or direct. The insurance company tells us what they're going to reimburse. The only choice I really have as even an independent pharmacy is the difference between those two numbers enough that I can, provide the medicine, hope I get paid 2 months from now and the insurance company doesn't try to take the money back. So the only choice we really have is what is the difference between cost and reimbursement, and is that enough money to, that we can live with?
That's right. That's right.
So we don't really have any more choices than you all do,
Right.
sadly enough.
No,
So
I
anyway,
understand, but that's the thing that I do believe that we can overcome. It's been done. There's a precedent set in other disease states, and I just think that we need to get ready. We need to get prepared, and we need to be able to raise our voices. And until we get to that place where we're, I had a friend of mine that was in ministry for many years, and he said, until you hate that sin that you live with, you will not get rid of it. And I think that that is true about a lot of things, but I think it's also very true about these things that are really harming us. Until we rise up and really address these issues, things will not change. And I'm not going to get out there and try to do it independent of the community, but I can tell you that I'm ready to go to the street when we need to, and I'm hopeful that at some point that changes. And the best way for us to have these conversations is at events like this where we can gather together. And so, look, if you're watching this today and you're looking at this conversation, you're going, man, they are singing my song and I'd love to do it. We would love to hear from you. And you can just take a minute right now and send us an email at info@hopeforhemophilia.com. And you can say, look, when you guys start talking about this more and more, I'm ready to. I want to get on the team and be a part of this conversation for increasing choice, not seeing it just fade away in the distance, because it's important. We are going to need to build an army to be able to speak to this issue as time goes on. But Mark, I just so appreciate your time.
I'm sorry, and let me just say also a little bit real quick.
Yeah.
I'm going to encourage, your audience out there to say now's a good time.
That's good.
There are a few states out there right now that are passing some laws that say insurance companies and PBMs cannot force patients to certain pharmacies. That any willing provider law does putting some teeth in that law that to correct some of this and more importantly stop it from getting worse. So I'm going to encourage everyone out there, now's a great time because there is some movement out there to fix this in some certain states. And the other thing is that to talk a little bit about my side of the industry, is that it's a good time because obviously healthcare cost and how much money everybody's making on our side of the fence is kind of a whatever hot topic, sore subject, whatever you want to call it. So let me just, now granted, as I said, I don't have a little choice of, any choice of how much money we make because of cost and reimbursement. But let me just tell you, if you want to pick on me and my side of the fence and the insurance companies, it's a pretty good time to do that because it's kind of at the surface.
Yeah.
And if we've got 15 minutes of fame while people are riled up about it, as we used to say in the country where I came from, now's a really good time, I think, personally, and not letting it get further down that road. As we all know, a deeper, bigger a hole gets, the harder it is to fill in.
That's good advice, Mark. And I'm with you on that. And I'm ready to go. This is a conversation you and I have been having for a long time. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that are, that have been kind of the silent majority in a way. And I say it's time to rise up. Let's start having the conversation and see what we can do to make change happen. Because we're the only ones that are going to defend it for our kids, our grandkids, and everybody else coming down the line. And if we don't say something, nobody else will. So, thank you.
Well, and as you said, it's a good time too because there's a lot of other disease states, oncology, neurology, rheumatology. I mean, it's great. We have better and better medicine. I think you just said you're 42 years old. You've got a lot better medicine choices than you did when you were born.
Absolutely.
But unfortunately, and cancer and treating cancer and all of those things are all the same thing, but better medicine, more expensive. So it's not just the bleeding disorder community. There's some other areas out there that the same issues that I deal with my bleeding disorder patients and in the community, whether there are patients or not, to try to help people, are the same issues we deal in some other things. And I know you all are small voice in the scheme of things through the country. But there's some much larger groups out there fighting the same battles, having the same problems, that are great opportunities to unite with right now.
That's right. And that's part of the reason why we're doing what we can through the Hope Charities channels to expand that and connect with those other groups, but also through the work that I've done with the United for Charitable Assistance Coalition as well. That coalition just by itself represents around $800 million worth of organizations annually, and it is really making a big difference in terms of trying to push the conversation a little bit more forward as it pertains to helping people on the ground where it really matters. So Mark, thank you again for all your support and all your help, not only of us, but also just the community as a whole. I know you do a lot to help a lot of people that you don't even get any reimbursement for. So I've seen some of that too. And so I appreciate the work that you do, and it means a lot. We are so grateful for First Choice and their support of these events like this. So thank you for being here, and thank you for having this conversation today, because I hope it'll help a lot of people.
Well, I too do. Well, and thank you very much for inviting me on and allowing us to be a part.
And we'll talk to you again soon.
Thanks. Hope to see you soon.
All right. Bye now.
Hey, sit up in your chair or in your couch, wherever you are, and make sure you pay attention closely for the next few minutes. We've got some words from our sponsors. Check it out, and we'll see you back here in a minute.
My name is Michael. I have severe hemophilia B, and I'm infusing every 14 days with Adelvion. I was diagnosed with hemophilia B when I was 4 years old, but I never let it define me. I like to say I have hemophilia, but hemophilia doesn't have me. As long as I can remember, I've been an active kid. Being active gives me a sense of freedom and independence to be able to do the things that I want to do. With my previous therapy, my biggest issue was that I was still having breakthrough bleeds in my groin area, my knees, my fingers, and my ankles. When I would get a bleed, it would start off as a painful feeling and could sometimes lead to me being housebound. It was very limiting. I'm starting my first year of college at Loyola University of New Orleans. Now that I'm going off to college and going to be living on my own, I'm glad that I'm on Adelvion because I only have to infuse every 14 days and I don't have to stick myself as much. I've always wanted to be a lawyer, and I'm excited to move on campus and start college and start to pursue my career. Right after I got accepted into Loyola, I went to the Office of Accessibility just so I can let them know about my bleeding disorder and they can know who I am. As I get ready to start my first year of college, I know I can manage my hemophilia B because I have a strong support system on campus. I have a great relationship with my hematologist. I know where my meds are going to be delivered, and I know I can do it on my own.
Important safety information and indications. Idelvion, coagulation factor IX recombinant albumin fusion protein, is used to control and prevent bleeding episodes in people with hemophilia B. Your doctor might also give you Idelvion before surgical procedures. Used regularly as prophylaxis, Idelvion can reduce number of bleeding episodes. Idelvion is administered by intravenous injection into the bloodstream and can be self-administered or administered by a caregiver. Do not inject Idelvion without training and approval from your healthcare provider or hemophilia treatment center. Tell your healthcare provider of any medical condition you might have, including allergies and pregnancy, as well as all medications you are taking. Do not use Idelvion if you know you are allergic to any of its ingredients, including hamster proteins. Tell your doctor if you previously had an allergic reaction to any factor IX product. Stop treatment and immediately contact your healthcare provider if you see signs of an allergic reaction, including a rash or hives, itching, tightness of chest or throat, difficulty breathing, lightheadedness, dizziness, nausea, or a decrease in blood pressure. Your body can make antibodies, called inhibitors, against factor IX, which could stop Idelvion from working properly. You might need to be tested for inhibitors from time to time. Idelvion might also increase the risk of abnormal blood clots in your body especially if you have risk factors. Call your healthcare provider if you have chest pain, difficulty breathing, or leg tenderness or swelling. In clinical trials for Idelvion, headache was the only side effect occurring in more than 1% of patients, 1.8%, but is not the only side effect possible. Tell your healthcare provider about any side effect that bothers you or does not go away, or if bleeding is not controlled with Idelvion. Please see full prescribing information for Idelvion, including patient product information. You are also encouraged to report negative side effects of prescription drugs to the FDA. Visit www.fda.gov/medwatch or call 1-800-FDA-1088.
Hi, I'm Matthew Fluttis, National Program Director with InfuCare Rx. You may be more familiar with Factor One Source Fast Pharmacy. We've recently rebranded as InfuCare Rx to focus on our home infusion program, which now includes hemophilia, IVIG, TPNs, antibiotics, and chronic infusibles. I'd like to first mention how much we value the ongoing partnership that we have shared with Hope Charities. And we tip our hats to their team for adapting to a virtual conference format. This is our third year as a sponsor, and we look forward to supporting this wonderful cause for many more to come. At InfuCare Rx, our company motto is "It takes a team." We believe in fostering partnership and collaboration between the entire medical team and support system of a patient. Service is a key motivator behind everything we do. When Factor One Source Fast Pharmacies merged with InfuCare Rx, we did so because we wanted to expand our capabilities around home infusion and infusion suites in order to better serve all of our patients in the coming decade. Together, we have 6 pharmacy sites, 1 nursing and care coordination site, and 13 infusion suites from coast to coast. We are licensed in all 50 states, DC and Guam, which not only means that we can help patients everywhere, it also means that we provide seamless care for families, even if they move or have changes in employment. Our pharmacies have earned prestigious accreditations from the Joint Commission, URAC, and ACHC. Why is that important? It demonstrates our commitment to excellence and our dedication to improving healthcare quality and safety for all of our patients.
Meet Steve. Steve has been suffering from a complex medical condition that's been causing him stress and fatigue. Such conditions require high-touch, personalized medical care. Luckily, there is a solution. InfuCare Rx. InfuCare Rx is a leading nationwide specialty infusion provider. Our dedicated team of experts work together to create a better future for healthcare and an improved outcome for patients. At InfuCare Rx, Steve will receive financial guidance from our enrollment and authorization specialists. Our clinical pharmacists will educate and monitor Steve, while our nurses accompany him every step of the way in a convenient setting. Whether specialty medication or infusion therapy, InfuCare Rx provides comprehensive service for a wide variety of complex conditions. Call InfuCare Rx at 1-877-828-3940 or visit us at www.infucarerx.com today.
Families and individuals all over America are facing new challenges this year. We know times are tough. While these are unprecedented times, our bleeding disorder community has proven itself time and time again to be a resilient group of amazing individuals that know how to come together as a team in times of crisis. InfuCare Rx provides not only the clinical services that you have come to expect from your specialty pharmacy, but also resources, ongoing personalized support, and opportunities during these difficult times. For example, we offer ongoing patient education opportunities, financial counseling, and a robust scholarship program. I'd like to take the opportunity to tell you a little bit more about this program. Our company established a scholarship program in 2015 with the simple goal of helping people living with chronic and complex medical conditions pursue higher education. In just 6 years, we have given away over $50,000 to 20 students. We have helped people coming from many different backgrounds get on the right track to pursuing many different career paths. while living with many different conditions, including multiple sclerosis, organ transplants, Crohn's disease, immunodeficiencies, and you guessed it, hemophilia, von Willebrand disease, and rare blood disorders. For those interested, we begin accepting applications on our website at the beginning of each new year. So if you or someone you know would be interested, we encourage you to visit our website, InfuCareRx.com, and join our scholarship newsletter for more information and eligibility requirements. And to be sure you follow us on social media at InfuCare Rx for updates. Ultimately, we want to dedicate this video to all the nurses, doctors, first responders, pharmacists, and all the essential healthcare workers who have risen to the occasion this year and have been heroes to us all. It truly does take a team. Thank you.
Because allergies shouldn't get in the way of a good time. Because a heart attack should never stop the heart of a family. Because hemophilia shouldn't keep someone from doing what's in their blood. At Bayer, everything we do, from advances in health to innovations in agriculture, is to help every life we touch. At Bayer, this is why we science.
Hey, everybody, just interrupting real quick here. Make sure you go onto the website, click on the sponsor links. We've got some great information there, but also you can win some door prizes. So make sure you're getting over there. See you in a bit. Bye.
Which one is it gonna be, Anthony? The cartoon with the fish or the polar bears?
We always watch those, Grandma.
They're all good movies.
So what's the good news?
There's about 8 million results.
Is that all? Where do we start?
How about this? Let me run through what the nurse talked about today and what we should expect when we go in tomorrow. And we can deal with all the pamphlets and these links tomorrow.
Perfect.
Anthony didn't seem nervous at all. He was so chill.
That's great.
I turned to him and said, I'm so proud of you.
That's great. You know, if this is hemophilia, first thing we want to know is how the insurance works.
Right, and that's with the social worker. But with the doctor, I don't want to forget to ask about treatment choices and factors.
Factor?
Right, factor. The medicine we Googled last night.
Come on, Dad. Go.
We're going. We're getting on.
Hello, Amy, Hector. I know that while we've been waiting for the blood work to return, we've been operating under this assumption. And today, the blood work has confirmed it. Anthony has hemophilia A with factor VIII level of less than 1%.
That's considered severe.
Correct. Now, this means you and Anthony will initially need to come in for treatment. You'll learn about
insurance.
What about factor?
Correct. I'm sure you have many questions on many topics. We'll get through it all. We will educate you both, and in time, Anthony, on how and when to take his factor, how much to take, where it comes from, how it operates inside his body, and how it will help keep him healthy. It sounds like a lot, but Nurse Jess and I and the whole team here at the HTC will be here to guide you through. We treat around 100 patients just like Anthony, and whose parents have been in your shoes before. You will become experts on this, I assure you, and sooner than you may think.
Step 1, familiarize yourself with these pamphlets. We have your next appointment down for Thursday when we'll take step 2 together. Okay?
This is big. This is gonna be a big change.
Is this real?
Yeah, but we'll figure it out.
Welcome to the Grifols plant, everyone. Right this way. Grifols is respected in the hemophilia community for our storied history of being problem solvers and innovators. We pride ourselves in identifying challenges within the community and working to solve them. Today is a great example of that commitment. We needed to teach community members about our plasma products, but the usual pamphlets and PowerPoints just aren't cutting it anymore. So we took some of our engineering prowess and put it towards a special experience crafted just for families like you. This is our new virtual reality experience. What if you could see where your factor comes from? We wanted to bring you, the community members, directly into our plasma process. We've offered free tour of the plant for years, bringing a handful of patients through whenever possible. But instead of bringing patients to the plant, a virtual reality tour now allows us to bring the plant to patients all over the country. How do I look?
Futuristic.
Thanks to the magic of virtual reality, we can take you through each step of the process, led by our in-house quality control expert, Dr. Jones. Are you ready to meet Dr. Jones?
Absolutely.
Welcome to Grifols.
Hi, Dr. Jones.
We require a pristine plant environment. From the plasma donation center to the plant, rigorous safeguards are in effect at every step in the process to help ensure our plasma products can be taken with confidence. In fact, 5 of our essential steps to safety take place at the point of plasma donation at our plasma donation centers. Now, are you ready for the tour? Deliveries of donated plasma arrive via refrigerated trucks, transported at -20 degrees Celsius or colder.
It looks cold.
We then thaw the plasma to begin the process of centrifugation. In the Viral Control Center, the plasma is run through several processes to separate out the factor VIII protein. The protein is then run through ultrafiltration, concentrating it from around 120 kilos down to 40 kilos. After factor VIII purification, the factor VIII protein moves into its final stage of the process, what we refer to as aseptic filling. Aseptic filling refers to the process of putting a sterilized substance into a sterilized container, like a vial. The custom technology we use was invented right here at Grifols. We even use a special airflow system to help ensure the process is clean and safe before we lyophilize or freeze dry and vacuum seal the vials of what we now can call factor. We believe this attention to detail in creating and bringing you factor VIII treatment may mean you, your child, those you care about can get back to a more normal way of life.
I'm sure you have plenty of questions. You should. My advice is to write them out before your appointments at HCC. It's important to seek clarity and be your own advocate when it comes to your healthcare.
Thank you. You've given us a lot to think about.
Yeah, very cool. It's still processing it all.
Me too. It's a lot.
In a good way.
Yes, in a good way.
Thank you. Sure.
Thank you so much.
patients.
He's asleep right now.
Okay, honey, you left your recovery book. See you soon.
How are you feeling?
Take a guess.
So what's question number 1? Risks of plasma therapies?
Factor
Factor. I keep saying plasma.
and best practices.
For long-term care.
I think more than anything, I wonder what Anthony's life is gonna be like. The next 5 years or 10 years or 30 years.
Well, that's another good question for Dr. K. What's wrong?
I can't.
What do you mean?
I can't go in. I can't do it.
What's wrong?
What's the point? What's the point of going in there? We can't fix this.
Where's this coming from? We have a diagnosis, finally.
Yeah, but there's no solution. At least not an easy one. I just feel so guilty.
Hey, all parents face challenges. All of them. Remember the night we found out you were the one that told me how to be strong for Anthony?
Really?
Yeah, don't you remember?
What did I say?
You said it was good to be honest about your feelings, good or bad, but to be strong. And then you made me start reading. Everything. Every pamphlet, every Google search result.
Just keep putting one foot in front of the other. Do your homework and ask a lot of questions.
Yeah, I get it though. It all feels very real right now. Like as soon as we go in and start planning with Dr. K, it all becomes official.
Exactly. And it's the start of a long journey. I just really want to get this right, you know? I want to get it right for Anthony.
You want some advice?
Maybe.
It's good to be honest about your feelings. Good or bad. But be strong.
I came up with that.
And just do your homework.
And ask a lot of questions. Whoever came up with that is very smart. And a good parent.
The best. Right?
Now, how have the last few days been?
Well, in all honesty, I felt panic. There's so much to read and so much to know.
Yes, things can be very overwhelming early on.
But the more I learn about this, the better I feel. I just want my Anthony to be able to lead a comfortable life.
Amy, nowadays, with the products that are available to treat hemophilia,
My name is Nikita, and I'm from Tennessee, and I have the pleasure of serving patients in Arkansas, Louisiana, and Tennessee, supporting the Southeast region. A Sanofi Genzyme Core Manager is a person that has the opportunity to go out into the community. We partner with the local chapters, we provide education, but most importantly, we have the pleasure of listening to the community. It is my role to be that resource to you and your family on all aspects of our company. When my children were diagnosed with hemophilia, the community was right there for me to let me know that I was going to make it through. And this is my way of saying thank you, being that resource to the next family that comes along.
Hi, we're CVS Specialty, and you've come to the right place for specialty medication and one-on-one support. We want to help make living with your specialty condition a little easier. Let's start with getting your medication. Most specialty pharmacies only offer delivery, but with us, you have options. We can provide convenient, contactless home delivery of your medication. But if you prefer to pick it up, we can have it available for you at any CVS pharmacy location. The choice is yours. We also know that taking a specialty medication, particularly if you're new to treatment, can come with questions. So we make sure you have access to a nurse and pharmacist specially trained in conditions like yours. Together, they're known as your CVS Specialty Care Team, and you can rely on them for trusted information. Send your care team a secure message on our website or mobile app. They can help with questions about your medication order status, billing, or even side effects. For even more convenience, use our digital tools to manage your medication. You can refill prescriptions, monitor order status, make payments, and much more anytime online. These are just some of the ways we can help you manage your specialty condition. We're CVS Specialty, and we'll be here when you need us, because you are our specialty.
For more than 50 years, scientists have been investigating and evolving gene therapy, an approach that aims to address a genetic disease, such as hemophilia, at its source, the gene. Genetic diseases can be caused by gene mutations, meaning the body does not have the instructions it needs to create the right proteins. Research is exploring whether a new functional gene can be delivered into a cell to provide instructions to make a desired protein, such as factor VIII or IX in the case of hemophilia. Together, let's explore the science behind this investigational approach with our 3D vector model. In gene therapy research, we need a way to get the functional gene into the body. A transporter, called a vector, is used. Vectors are made from modified viruses. You may associate viruses with things that make you sick, but the most commonly used virus for hemophilia gene therapy research, the adeno-associated virus, or AAV, was chosen because it is not known to cause human disease. A virus is transformed into a vector by removing the viral genetic information. Now the modified viral-based shell can serve as a delivery vehicle. In a laboratory, the new functional gene is created. It contains the instructions for the cell to make a necessary protein, such as factor VIII or IX. Once created, the new functional gene is placed inside the shell. Together, they become a vector. In hemophilia gene therapy research, the vector is delivered to the body by IV infusion into the blood. The goal is to deliver the new functional gene to the liver cells called hepatocytes. Each viral vector has its own attraction, or tropism, to a certain cell type. In hemophilia, for example, AAV is attracted to the liver's cells. Once the vector reaches the liver, the new functional gene can enter a cell's nucleus or command center, where it sits next to the existing DNA. If transferred successfully, the new gene instructs the liver cells to make the necessary protein. In the case of hemophilia, the gene enables the production of clotting proteins. Safety and efficacy have not been established. Studies of investigational gene therapy are ongoing, and participants continue to be followed. To learn more about gene therapy research for hemophilia, visit hemophiliaforward.com or talk with your healthcare team.
Kedrion Biopharma produces and distributes plasma-derived products to treat rare diseases such as hemophilia and primary immunodeficiencies. Plasma comes from people, donors, who contribute their precious gift so others, people they most often never know, can live better lives. We act as a bridge between donors and patients by turning plasma into life-saving therapies to serve patients all over the world. Kedrion is headquartered in Italy, with subsidiaries in Europe, the US, Latin America, and Asia. We own manufacturing plants in Italy, Hungary, and the US, and through KedPlasma, we operate state-of-the-art plasma collection centers in the United States and Hungary. Kedrion is the world's 5th player and Italy's first in the field of plasma-derived products. In Italy, we partner the national health system in its self-sufficiency program. At a global level, we distribute in approximately 100 countries, and we are market leaders for specialty treatments, including those used to prevent Rh sensitization. Kedrion started as a small family company, strongly connected to the communities where its people live and work. For us, social responsibility has always been a matter of being a good neighbor. Over the years, while expanding worldwide, we have maintained our role of bridging communities from the local to the global level. Innovation means contributing to improve the quality of life of people affected by rare diseases. Every day, we cooperate with patient and donor organizations, supporting projects that make a difference. We invest in scientific research and disease awareness. We work to broaden access to plasma therapies globally. Every day, we strive to keep life flowing.
Hi, I'm Samuel, and I'm from Long Beach, California.
Hi, I'm Steve, and I'm from Dallas, Texas.
Hi, my name is Leo Tellez, and I live in Las Vegas, Nevada.
Hi, I'm Kalechi Arungwa, and I'm from Silver Spring, Maryland.
Hi, I'm Ed, and I'm from Grafton, Massachusetts.
Hi, my name is Rene, and I'm from Orlando, Florida.
Howdy, folks. It's Paul from Austin, Texas.
Hi, I'm Ellen, and I'm from Conshohocken, Pennsylvania.
Hey, I'm Michael from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, I'm Brian from Orlando, Florida.
Hi, I'm Miles, and I'm from Atlanta, Georgia.
Hi, my name is Lenore, and I'm from Mahwah, New Jersey.
Hi, I'm Craig Watkins in Kansas City.
Hi, I'm Nora, and I'm from Erie, Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Mike, and I'm from St. Louis, Missouri.
Hi, my name is Orson, and I'm from Charlotte, North Carolina.
I'm Patrick, and I'm from Libertyville, Illinois.
Hi, I'm Karen, and I'm from Bethlehem, Pennsylvania.
Hi, I'm Jeremy from Denton, Texas.
Hello, my name is Stephen Lawrence. I take care of patients in Kentucky, Tennessee, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Hi, my name is Robin Lawrence, and I take care of patients in Tennessee, Kentucky, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and South Carolina.
Hi, my name is Debbie Costales. I'm in New Mexico and El Paso.
I'm Ed. I'm a nurse that's worked with hemophilia patients for over 24 years. I cover Kansas, Missouri, Nebraska, and Iowa, and the rest of the Midwest.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Ashmore. I live in Chastine, Maine. My territory covers all 6 states in New England. I love working with families, especially kids and teens, to teach transition tools for hemophilia life skills, as well as tips and tricks for how to successfully stick to infusions.
Hi, I'm Vanessa, and I service patients in Missouri, Kansas, and Nebraska. Go Chiefs!
Hi, I'm Karen Price from St. Louis, Missouri, and I'm a specialty infusion nurse helping patients in Missouri and Illinois.
Hi, I'm Judy Bagato. I'm a former treatment center nurse, and I now work with Superior Biologics as an infusion nurse.
Hi, I'm Craig McDonald from Colorado. I've been covering the Midwest for about 20 years in the bleeding disorder community.
Hi, my name is Abdiel Ramirez, and I work for Superior Biologics here in the state of Texas. If you only know how to speak Spanish, I'm also here to help.
I'm Bill Fitzpatrick, an infusion nurse with Superior Biologics.
Because allergies shouldn't get in the way of a good time. Because a heart attack should never stop the heart of a family. Because hemophilia shouldn't keep someone from doing what's in their blood. At Bayer, everything we do, from advances in health to innovations in agriculture, is to help every life we touch. At Bayer, this is why we science.
I want to give a big, huge thank you to all of our sponsors this year. Thank you so much for partnering with us for the virtual 2020 Hope Conference. Make sure you come back around lunchtime because we've got a lot more stuff in store, a lot more education. In our general session, we've got some really cool things going on. So we'll see y'all at lunch.